everyone and welcome to day 20, and today is actually day 20, not like yesterday where I announced day 20, and today we are going to be working arms. I am back in my own back garden. The weather is beautiful. I hope you guys have enjoyed yesterday's stretches, but today we're going to be working arms, shoulders and core. In fact, we're kind of working the whole body, so really enjoy this one. 5 exercises, that's all you need to do is just find that little bit of time for yourself and get it done. So we're going to start with some simple lat raises, lateral raises, deltoid raises, really working the outside of the shoulder here. To make sure that we really isolate this part of the arm, you want to really make sure the whole time throughout it that shoulder stays rolled back and down. You have 2 options, a little bit of weight in your hand, as heavy as you can go, but I would really recommend starting light to make sure your form is on point. So shoulders rolled back and down, wide open chest, lifting up through the collarbones, and from that position you're just going to simply raise the arms out to the side and then very slowly and controlled back down. And I want you to count this one, so 2 seconds up and 2 seconds down, because it's that slow contraction down that actually can be really transformative for our muscles. The commonest mistake with this is to go too heavy in the weights, and then what happens is we hitch the shoulder, which really stresses the neck, creates some really nasty bulky roundness through those shoulders. So really keep those shoulders rolled back and down as you raise the arms up. Now you can make it easier and more focused by just doing one arm at a time, but you will have to do 30 on each arm, and then, or you can do both together. The easier is obviously no weights, harder is obviously heavier weights, but please don't go heavier unless you can maintain your slow controlled form throughout. Then we're going to move on to bridge crushers. So you're going to come onto your back and you're going to go into a nice bridge. I'm going to swivel this thing. So feet towards your buttocks, knees hips distance apart, pointing straight up to the ceiling. From that position, you're going to take a weight or cans of soup or a bottle of water, whatever you've got, and you're going to go up into a nice bridge position. From there, you're going to bend the elbows to bring the weight towards the head and then straight back up. So the elbows don't move, they just stay pointing straight to the ceiling as you bend. And you're going to do 30 of those whilst maintaining your bridge position. With your bridge position, keep the rib cage tucked, don't let it pop up, because that's when we tend to overarch the low back. So keep the rib cage tucked, keep your bottom really lifting forward, stretching through those hip flexors as you roll the shoulders back and down, and from there you're doing this. 30 of those. Try and stay as relaxed in your neck as you can. If you need to take a break in the middle, that's no problem. So from there, we're going to move on to table arm raises. These are really tricky, especially after the bridge, because we're working the same posterior chain muscles. So again, if you need to take a break, it doesn't matter guys, you do what you need to. But you're going to come down, again, feet hips distance apart, hands underneath your shoulders, and you're going to raise up into a table. Try and not stay rounded. I find this one really hard because my shoulders aren't particularly flexible, but I try and lift through my chest as if my collarbone and my breastbone are lifting up towards the sky to really open that chest. And you should feel a nice stretch through the front of the shoulders with that as you keep these glutes lifting upwards. From here, we're going to do some arm raises. So you take this one off and down, and then this one and down. And the key with this is to try and stay as neutral and flat through here as you can. Bottom will want to dip back down, tummy will want to come up. Try and just keep pelvis tucking underneath, lifting that pubic bone up towards the sky, keeping that chest open as you try and just raise one arm and then the other. It's a really good one for glutes. You'll feel it in the backs of your legs and your hamstrings, and in the arms as well. So balance, control, nice slow speed to make sure you're really working that body efficiently rather than swiftly. Moving from there, we're going to flip it upside down and go into a plank. And in this plank position, we're going to do some arm raises. So same thing, as you raise the arm, the core is so contracted, you really don't tip and dip and twist through the pelvis. Coming back to that idea of having a bucket on your low back and pelvis, and as you're doing the exercise, that bucket doesn't tip, doesn't dip, or doesn't arch. So you're staying really nice and neutral through there. Shoulders rolled back and down, pushing through the fingertips rather than the wrist, and raising the arm as high as you can. Whew. My goodness me, my core is in need of some work. To tone this down, which I may be having to if my form drops, you simply drop the knees and you keep the knees on the floor, and then you do the exercise comme ça. Again, to make it even easier, knees come further in. If you have any restriction with your shoulder, like me, don't force it. I would rather the shoulder only comes to here, but your core stays strong, rather than you trying to get the shoulder up and the head dropping and the tummy arching and the low back arching. So I'd rather that you isolate the movement only to the point that you can get it, rather than feeling that you need to get it all the way and compromise the rest of the body. Okay? And then the last one, free cobras. This is a beautiful exercise for the back of the chest, and it's really going to open out the front of the body. So for those of you who spend a lot of time on your phones, a lot of time driving, a lot of time at your desk, a lot of time feeding children, whatever, this rounded posture makes us very tight at the front and very weak at the back. So this exercise is a really great exercise to open out the front of the chest and strengthen these muscles at the back. So you're going to come down onto the front. From this position, your hands can be really wherever you feel comfortable. So either by the sides of the rib cage, out to the side, and all you're going to do is just raise head and shoulders up, and then lower back down, and raise head and shoulders up and lower back down. There are two things that I want you to really think about with this though, and the number one is actually your core. I want you to imagine that you have a teeny weeny little butterfly underneath your abdomen, your lower abdomen, so between your belly button and your pubic bone. I want you to imagine that you've got a little baby butterfly, and so when you lift up through the shoulders, you're also thinking about not squishing that butterfly underneath your tummy. And that is when you're going to really feel that core protecting your low back as you lift and engage the muscles higher up. Push the toes down in towards the floor to add a little bit more leg contraction. Oh, I'm getting crammed. You can tell I've been in the car all day. Oh. Okay, so free cobras. So from that position, push down into the floor, lift up, hold and breathe out, and come down. And again, come up and come down. There's no need for the head to tip back. Your spine, imagine you're growing forwards and up rather than arching backwards. And that, my friends, is it. To make it easier, if you find that really hard, keep your hands on the floor and use them for a little bit of extra support, and that will help you just lift up a little bit. And then what you can always do is use them to get up, and then just challenge if you can hold for a second and come back down. Oh, goodness. Okay, good. So before my feet go into any more cramp, I'm going to love you and leave you with those exercises. 5 exercises really working on that upper body. Really think about keeping shoulders rolled back and down, and these muscles nice and relaxed, and that chest nice and open. So we go from this to this. Have a lovely day, guys. See you all tomorrow.